Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy and welcome to my first ArtSnacks video. I've been waiting so long to bring you guys one of these videos. So, ArtSnacks have kindly sent me the December box. I also have January's, but I'm a little bit behind, so I'm going to be opening December's box and creating something with the supplies within this one first. So, I have already pre-opened the label majig there, so let's dive straight into this box and see what we have in here, see what goodies are beholden to us. So, okay, first off, I'm extremely happy with this because this is a supply that I am very familiar with. I've created multiple mixed media pieces with some of these Faber-Castell Pitt artist pens, so I know exactly how I'm going to use and apply these. And these look as though they have different tips to what I'm used to. I'm used to like the really fine tip ones, like the fine liners. These look like they have like slanted brushes, so maybe we could create some kind of typography thing with this. Oh, the ideas are already coming to me. I'm excited about these. So let's see what else we have in this box. Obviously we have our ArtSnacks sticker, which is Christmas themed, and although Christmas is over for me, this is still going to go in my little sticker collection. So what else do we have? We have our supplies list, which I will read in a minute because I don't want to spoil the surprise of what is in this lovely green package here. So the sweet we have is a little candy cane piece, which I'm going to enjoy. Let's open up this because it's fairly heavy, so that's intriguing. So let's chuck this box to one side and open up this. Oh, it sounds like it might be some kind of like paint marker or something. So let's get into this one. Open up this little package here. I love the green. Green is my favourite colour, so I'm loving this green tissue. Good choice, ArtSnacks. Good choice. Oh, colour pencil. Yes. Okay, so what is this? Okay, this is a Crink paint marker. I was right. It's like I've worked when I had a day job working at car mechanics. We had these to like touch up specific areas on a car. So this sounded very familiar. So what colour is this? Is this silver? Does it actually say on it? I can't see. I suppose we would have to open it and see. I presume that it's silver, seeing as it's in like a silver casing, which is perfect for Christmas. I'm a little bit disappointed that Christmas is over now. I should have opened this before. What else do we have? Oh, okay, I have these, but in black. This is a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen thing. This is in red. So we have red and silver. So yes, a very Christmassy supplies box here. So we've got fine liners or like brush pens, red brush pen, silver paint pen. I'm going to presume that it's silver. We will test it out on some scrap paper in a bit. And then we have a coloured pencil, or just a pencil. I thought it was coloured pencil. Got excited then, but it's a General's drafting pencil. I presume this is like a sketching pencil. Not familiar with the General's brand myself. So let's read what it actually says on. Here's what's on the menu for December. Because it's ArtSnacks, I get it. Nice. So this is a Crink K75 paint marker. Permanent alcohol-based paint. Nice, okay. Yeah, the Faber-Castell Pitt artist pens, Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen, and General's drafting pencils. Okay, so I presume that we use this one for sketching stuff out and then these supplies for actually colouring it. So, now that we know what our supplies are, I'm going to jump straight into trying these out in my little sketchbook and then composing some thumbnails, doing some sketching, obviously with the General's drafting pencil, and then we will come up with a final piece. Let's get to it. The first thing I did here was I ate the candy cane sweet, and damn was it good. That is one of the best little pieces of candy cane I've had. So the actual supplies, I must admit I was a little bit scared about using them together because I've never used anything like this in conjunction with one another. I've never used a paint marker like this with fine liners, with a red fine liner, and I also didn't know what the hell I was going to create because it's been a long while since I've kind of done this process as well. Like, you get a box of supplies and then you have to create something, and immediately my brain kind of fell blank. So the first thing that I thought to do was just to try out all of the supplies, see what would actually go down over the top of that paint pen as well. So I wanted to see whether the Faber-Castell fine liners and the Tombow Food No Scale would actually go over the top, and how it kind of affected it, and if the paint marker would go over the top of the fine liner marks, and whether it was really opaque or not. So I spent a long time just trialing all of these materials out and just seeing what they could do and how they worked with one another. And I had a really fun time doing this. This is one of the reasons why I love these kinds of subscription boxes, because you're given art supplies that you maybe not necessarily use often. You have to create something with them, and it's the whole process. It's really creative. I find it really therapeutic to do this, despite the initial sort of, what the hell do I do? I have no idea. I actually find this process really therapeutic, and it's a great way to actually get your creative juices flowing, especially if you're like me and you just work with one medium like coloured pencils. It's a good way to just break out of the zone and just develop some skills outside of your go-to media. So after I'd had a little play with these supplies, I decided to look up on Google red and black animals. I just knew that I wanted to keep this animal themed because that's my primary focus. That's what I'm really passionate about. So I knew I wanted an animal theme. So I sketched a little bit of a thumbnail of a ladybird, which is what I actually drew for the Animal Artists Collective. And I also found a really interesting looking spider, a red and black spider, and I'm not exactly sure what type it is, but I went on Pixabay and I googled red and black spider, and this one came up. So I thought, that's kind of interesting and something that I haven't done before. So I sketched that out using the Faber-Castell fine liners. These are really nice to use, by the way. There's a real assortment of tips here. There's one that's kind of like a handwriting pen, and you can get some really interesting lines. And initially I was going to incorporate typography into my piece, but then I fell in love with this red and black moth butterfly thing. I'm not exactly sure what it is. These kind of creatures aren't my forte. But I fell in love with this and I thought, perfect. Red, black. I can add some silver in there because of like the iridescent wing type dust, you know. So I thought that this butterfly thing was the perfect choice for this. And I decided to continue using my sketchbook to do the final piece in, purely because I just wasn't confident enough to actually use some nice drawing paper to complete this piece with. So first of all, I'm using the General's drafting pencils to just sketch everything out. I actually did this freehand, which is rare for me. Usually I use a grid, but this time I did it freehand, and wow, it's quite a freeing experience. Scary but freeing, and I really enjoyed it. This pencil's really nice actually. It's not like buttery smooth, it's kind of rough, but I like that quality of it. And this was quite a smooth paper that I was working on, and it just went down really nice. It erased nicely as well. So this graphite pencil is actually going to be added into my graphite pencil arsenal, along with my Mars Lumograph pencils, and I may even look more into this General's brand because I've heard a lot about it. It did take me quite a long time to actually add everything in here, but I was just enjoying the process, just enjoying translating what I was seeing into the sketch form, and I wasn't really too worried about getting the proportions and getting everything spot on. This was more of a freeing experience, and I decided from the get-go that this was going to be a kind of more graphite type piece. So I was just letting everything be nice and free and just enjoying the process here. once the outline was done, I went around with I think it was the brush tip from the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. I've used that one before and I really like it, and I couldn't really find a use for the other pens, to be honest. If I was going to incorporate some kind of typography, then I would have used one of the others, but I think I used the brush tip to go around the outside. If it wasn't that, it was one of the sort of larger nibbed ones there. But I just added in an outline, and then I decided to do the leaf that this butterfly was landing on and sort of hiding behind. I decided to use the paint pen for that, like just have this really big shiny leaf. I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking with this, because the final outcome was a little bit naff, but I went with it. You know, this is experimental, these are the new materials to me, so I just went with it, went with the flow. And then I decided to use the brush Pitt pen to add in all of the dark areas of the butterfly. So I just basically brushed this down, made it really blocky, really graphic, and I was kind of inventive with the paint pen here. Rather than using the big fat nib of that Crink paint pen, I decided to pump some ink out onto the sort of experimental page on my sketchbook, and I actually used a paintbrush which came with my previous ArtSnacks box, and I applied the silver paint with the paintbrush, and I got this kind of rough kind of line effect that was present on the reference photo, and I really liked the outcome of this actually. And the more that the paint dried on the page and the kind of more powdery it became, it gave a really nice finish and a really nice effect when I was dipping the paintbrush into this kind of powdery paint, and it was just creating this really nice kind of dry brush effect, and I really like the outcome and the addition of this onto the wings. I used that Tombow Food&Nosque red to add in all of the red areas, and I was kind of disappointed that this red wasn't like pow in your face, and it was kind of patchy as well. I probably could have worked over it a little bit more, but it was just really patchy, and when I was going over the black areas they were kind of running a little bit, so I was kind of running into a little bit of difficulty there. So that wasn't the best thing to do. And I really wish that there would have been like one of the Pitt pens but in red, like that kind of brush tip. I really wish it was a larger brush tip, because the one on the Tombow Food&Nosque is quite hard and it's not ideal for adding in large areas of colour like this. So I kind of struggled a little bit, but it just takes you a little while to layer it up and lay it down, doesn't it? So I just added some more like silvery paint effects with my paintbrush and that Crink paint marker. I actually really enjoyed working with the paint marker in the end because of the different applications you could do. I mean, I probably could have gone in and just used a large brush nib thing and created a kind of mess and just done some really block graphic-y type things like I did with the leaf, but I really love the way that I came up with using a paintbrush to apply it, because I think that was kind of genius. It wasn't a supply that was with this box, but it was a supply with the previous box, so it's kind of not cheating. Well, that's my opinion anyway. And yeah, I just love the addition of this, and it was really nice to just not have to follow a reference photo 100%, and it was nice to be nice and loose and free, because my other work, the coloured pencil work, is really controlled. This was just nice to just put stuff down and try and create something interesting. The final outcome of this wasn't that great. I mean, it's not the best thing I've ever done, but I had fun with this box and I really did enjoy working with the supplies in the end. I mean, they're not my favourite supplies. I probably won't really touch them anymore. But I did enjoy the actual creative process. Bit scary at first, but in the end, it was all good. I created a really nice, like, flicky paint splattery effect just by putting loads of that paint marker down onto the paper and then using the tip of the paintbrush to just flick it. And it kind of made these nice spots and it looked like, I don't know, butterfly, fairy dust kind of thing. I'm not really sure what I was going for, I just thought it would be a nice effect, and I actually really like that. And this paint marker, although it looks really bright on the video footage here, when you position the page in various different ways, you can see the sort of metallic quality of the paint, and it's actually quite interesting and quite nice to look at. But that's pretty much it of my experience with this ArtSnacks box. I could have done a much better piece, but for my first ArtSnacks box, I don't think that this was that bad. I mean, the initial scariness was there, so with the next box, hopefully the scariness won't be there, and I can actually create something half decent. But I'm pretty pleased with this piece as a whole as it is. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I decided to add some of the pencil to the background just because that supply wasn't present in the final piece. I mean, I used it to do the sketch, but I kind of went over that and erased it so you didn't see any of the pencil. So I just added this really shaded kind of background along with some red of pen as well, some of that red Tombow. And yeah, that's the final outcome of this. Anyway guys, I really hope that you enjoyed my unboxing of this and the creation of this piece. I really did have fun making this piece and using the supplies in the end, and it is so great for creativity. I mean, you get out of your comfort zone. It's always good to get out of your comfort zone as a creative. So yeah, I really recommend this, and if you fancy taking this ArtSnacks challenge for yourself and purchasing an ArtSnacks box and having a go, then I have a 10% off code, which is AmieHoward10. I'll put it in the description for you along with a link to ArtSnacks if you fancy popping along and purchasing a subscription of the box and having a go at some of the challenges that behold you when you open the box and you don't know what you've got. So that's all down below for you guys. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this one, and if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new around here and you want to see more ArtSnacks type things along with coloured pencil tutorials, tips and techniques, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. I upload new videos every single Friday and I live stream most Sundays too, which is always a hoot, and I would be so pleased to have you join the family here. I will see you guys in another video. Bye!